This video is going over booking engine training. So first log into your cloud.rezstream.com, and on the left hand side click on your booking engine tab. This will be all the settings for the booking engine. We'll just start from the top and make our way down. Custom URL. This is going to be the full site link for your booking engine. So this is the link that you would send to whoever's going to change on your website or update links from your website. This will just bring up your booking engine page. The mobile site will bring up the mobile booking engine page. And if you have a responsive website, you can disable the mobile site and it'll look just like the regular booking engine page when they land from a mobile device. If you do make any changes to this page, just make sure and save at the top. Theme customization and mobile theme customization. This will be added by support or our design team, and it'll just be a layout that makes it look like they're not leaving your website. So we'll theme it out to look like your homepage with the colors, and then we'll try and have the same header, footer that looks just like your website. If you need to update your theme, you can always send those questions to either support@rezstream.com or our design team is changes@rezstream.com, and we can help out with the theme. Units and unit types. So this is how are you going to show your booking engine? Are we going to display by individual units, or are we going to show by unit types? So at the top here is how you're going to display that booking engine. So this one is selected by units, or you can choose by unit type. Unit type just groups them into their unit types that we have set up. So as you see here, my classic spa retreats has 3 units. My new rate has the 2, and then the owner suite just has the 1. Or if you want to display by individual units, it'll just list all your units here. If you click on the unit itself, you'll notice that there's a description for that unit that was added in either this section or under the configuration and units. And then my max capacity is down there. Again, if I make any changes to this page, I would just save at the top. If we go to the unit type section, you could see with the multiple units, these are all the units that we're saying are bookable for this unit type. Right now it doesn't have a description, so I can add one in there. And then this is my max capacity, and then this is my threshold. Message just saying like this is how many units are going to be available if they're searching on your booking engine. Again, any changes just save in the top right. We'll keep that at individual units for now. Going below that is images. So this is where I can add all my images for either my individual units, if I sell any point of sale items, or maybe if I sell any package items. This is where we can add an image for those. All my images that I've uploaded will be displayed on the left hand side here. And then when I want to add images to either the individual unit, the unit type, package, or point of sale item, I would select that over here on the right. So on the right hand side in the drop down, at the top will be my individual units. Scrolling down, these will be my unit types, my rate plans, and then we have packages and then point of sale. You would just select the item. So let's just do this breakfast here. And then I can add an image by clicking on the add button, and it'll move it over to that right hand side for that item. If you go inside the image, there's a little gear button here, and you can go and either delete this image, change the title, or add a description. Let's go back. Booking settings. So at the very top, booking engine mode, you have the choice to just display. So I want my guests to be able to view availability, so they can see what's available at what time frame, but they can't book. So that would be display only. Or allow reservations. This is allowing them to make a reservation that'll be downloaded into your cloud system. And then search by and book by. So again, we went over, you can either display by individual unit or that unit type. Allow bookings between. So this is saying I don't allow same day bookings, but I allow next day. So I'd put a 1 there. And then how far out do I want to go? So let's just go out a full calendar year, say 365. And I do allow same day bookings, so I'm just going to change that to a 0. You'll notice when you do set up the same day bookings that you do have a cutoff time. With this cutoff time, maybe at my property, no one's at the front desk after 5. So after 5, it's just going to roll over to the next day, and it won't allow same day bookings after 5 is what that's set up to do. Default number of rooms, so when they go into your booking engine, it's just going to come up with this number of rooms that they select first. We just have that set up as 1. And then max number of rooms. So if you allow them to book more than 1 room at a time, you can change this to however many units you have, really. Default length of stay. So when they first land on your booking engine page, what is the default that you want it set up? Now they can always go and change that default to either less nights or more nights, but this is what it'll default to, whatever we have set up here. And then the max length of stay. How long out do we allow guests to stay? So if you need to make any changes there, just change it, and then we'll save at the top because we made some changes. Payment settings. If you are set up with Shift4 fully integrated in the cloud system, you can turn on this setting and it'll automatically charge the guests whatever we have set up in our deposit policy. The deposit policy is set up under the configuration tab and deposit policy. So let's say I have my 50% including tax, it'll automatically charge them that amount. Now we never stop bookings from being created. So if maybe I enter the wrong digit on my credit card or I don't have the funds, we still allow the booking to download. It'll come through with a red message to both you and the guest. For the guest on the last page, their confirmation booking page, they get a message at the top just saying, hey, we were unable to process this credit card, and the property will be reaching out. And for you at the property, when those download on your dashboard in the recent reservations, you'll see it giant red text saying that we had issues processing the guest credit card. And then when you open their reservation page, that message is at the top with the same issues charging credit card message. If you do sell gift certificates, we would charge the gift certificate the full amount. So they purchase $100, it's going to charge $100 on their credit card. And this setting can only be turned on if you have Shift4 set up. So this property here doesn't have Shift4, so that's not an option. That's why you see that grayed out. Step customization. So the flow of our booking engine is select the dates, then you would select your unit, and then if I sell any point of sale or package items, that would come in step 3. And then the last step would be, this is where I'm going to confirm with all my information, address, credit card, all that stuff. This is kind of the flow and how you would like that named. It's set up, so you'll notice here and on my booking engine I have dates, accommodations, enhancements, confirmation. That's pulled from here. So whatever you have text-wise in there, we'll pull in those steps there. And then if you are going to sell packages or point of sale items, just check those 2 boxes here, and then you would just save if you make any changes. Under the configuration tab, we have POS and packages. If you are going to sell those items, you would also mark those as bookable items here. So if I select a point of sale item, I would check that in this section as selling on the booking engine, and that's going to display on the booking engine. In this section, you do have a description, so this is what they would read about that point of sale item, and then I can also add an image from here if I'd like. And then same thing with packages. Under configuration and packages, I would select my package, and then as long as it's checked here, it'll display on that booking engine. Again, same with the point of sale. We have a description for the package, and we can also add an image. Back to our booking engine. So that was step customization. Now we'll go to unit customization. So what are the names of your units? What do you want them to be called? This is where you can set that up. This property, we call them room and rooms. Maybe it's cabin, cabins, whatever your names are. And then rate display method. So you can either show the average rate or you can show the total. So I booked 2 nights at $100. It's going to show pretty much that nightly rate, or it can show that $200, whatever you choose for your booking engine. And then how do you want to sort those units? So after I select my dates, it's going to show me a list of either units or unit types. And how do you want those to display? So we can do by unit order. It'll just be whatever I have in configuration in units. It'll be in that exact order. I could do my highest rate to the lowest rate that'll display. I could do lowest to highest rate, or I could do by capacity. So again, if I make any changes here, I would save at the top. We'll just leave that at highest rate and show average. Full availability calendar. So on the full availability calendar, we have the option to hide the calendar, or we can show it. What that calendar is going to be is right now we have it hidden. So there's nothing on this page as far as the full availability calendar. I'm just going to click search on my booking engine. And at the very bottom of this page is the full availability calendar. So do you want this calendar to display on that first dates page? Then you would show it. Or you can continue to hide that and it'll be on the second page when they pick the units. This full availability calendar has a list of your units or unit types going down the left hand side. You'll notice that it has the name and then there's an image. If I click on the image, it'll increase that, and then I can do a slideshow if there's multiple images for this unit. The description's at the top here. I can view the description for that unit. And then from left to right, it has the date range. And right now I'm showing the price, so it has the prices in there. If I go back to my full availability options here, so I can hide that where it's not displaying on that first page, or I can show it and then it would display on that first page. And then I can display my rates, my nightly rates, or I can hide it where it's not going to show rates and it just shows availability. So we'll go ahead and show that and save. And then if I go back to my custom URL and click on my link, you'll notice now it has my date range, and then there's my full availability calendar at the bottom there. So 2 options with that. And that's under full availability calendar. Custom message. So if I click on custom message, usually this may be unchecked, so you can just check that section there. And as we talked about in the previous steps, kind of step 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then we also have a gift certificate and thank you. What message would you like to be towards the top? So right now you notice I had that test there. This is where that message will appear. And whatever message and whatever page is checked, it'll go on all those pages. So you can add any message you want, and maybe it's just for the first page, or gift certificate, I just have a message, thank you. Whatever message you would like to have at the top. Maybe it's going over kind of how to book at your property, or anything that you think the guests might have issues with. You can add that message at the top. Let's go back there. Stay conditions and policies. This is where you set up your terms and conditions and your policies. Terms and conditions is the last thing that the guests see, and they have to check a box that they agree to these terms and conditions. I cannot continue with booking my reservation until I check that box. So they agree to this, and they have to check a box for that. The policies is not as in your face. If we go back to our booking engine, towards the bottom here, here's policies. So that policies is something they'd have to pull up, as well as you go to a unit. The policies would be towards the bottom as well. So the policies isn't as in front of my face, I guess you could say, as the terms and condition. I have to agree to it. And just enter that text here. Your booking engine will not work unless you have text in both these terms and conditions and policies. And once you're finished, just save at the top. Minimum stay policy. What this is designed to do is relax minimum stay rules. And you could set up a time frame. So if it's within this number of days, and then you have an option, I can either reduce to windows to days available, or waive the requirement completely. So let's say I have a 3-night minimum set up in my rates, and there's only 2 nights available for this time frame. So everything is booked, but these 2 nights are just hanging out there. And usually they wouldn't be able to book it because I have that 3-night minimum set up. This would waive that rule. So if I reduce it to just windows to days available, it's going to make them book those 2 nights. If I waive the requirement completely, it'll allow a single night to be booked, and then so they can just book that one single night, and then that other single night would become available. So those are kind of to reduce from those not getting booked. You could set up a rule, and it'll just close those out. So it'll make it available. Confirmation options. So at the top, reservation terms. What would you like that to be called? The book now button. Book. What would you like that to be named? And then confirmation letters. So a letter is going to be automatically sent to the guest after they make their online reservation. Both the guests will receive one, and you'll get one at the property. And what letter do you want set up there? So whatever letter you have, you can add that here. And then payment failed confirmation letter. So again, we talked about we're not going to stop a reservation from being created. But if that payment was failed for either, they typed in the wrong credit card number or they don't have the funds, you can have another letter set up where it sends them this letter if that happens to happen. Again, this will just be if you're set up with Shift 4 and we have where our payments are automatically being accepted. And then at the top here, we have a thank you message. So what would you like that thank you message to be? And then that payment failure message. So like I said, when we stopped that reservation because they had a payment issue, at the very top of their confirmation page is going to be this message, whatever I have set up here. So you can change that, customize that to whatever you'd like. By default, both the thank you and payment failure will come up with something like this. It'll just have your property's information. Again, any changes on these pages, just save at the top. Custom fields. So at the very top, we have source of contact, and you have some options here. We can either do not show the source of contact, what the source, like how they find you. You can have a drop down box that'll have a list of whatever you have set up in your configuration tab of the source. I could show but allow guests to skip it, or I could show and require guests to choose from that drop down. I'll just pick show and allow guests. And then in the drop down, this is what I have set up in my configuration and source and reasons. This is what I have set up for sources. So this is what they would be able to select from. That, if I click on the configuration tab, scroll down and go to source of contact and reason for stay. First tab is going to be your sources. And if I do want to display that on the booking engine, make sure you come in here and select that as bookable on the booking engine and then save. So save that for all your sources that you want to show, and then same thing for my reasons. I would have to check that because I want to show that on the booking engine. Going back to our booking engine, custom fields. So our source of contact, we're going to go ahead and show but allow guests to skip. And we'll do the same thing for reason. Why are they staying with us? We'll show but allow guests to skip. Custom fields, this is anything you need to know prior to your guest reservation. So we'll see things like, are you bringing a pet? Maybe I need to keep track of their car. So I need to know, are you driving? If so, maybe I need their license plate number. Anything you need from the guest, just go ahead and enter that in there. So, and where we add custom fields is under the configuration tab and custom fields and dates. And we have our custom fields here. So we can add a new custom field, and then maybe we say time of arrival. Time of arrival, and we're going to flag that to the person. We'll flag it as important, and we'll save that custom field. And then going back to our booking engine and our custom fields here. So for our time of arrival, we want to show and require the guest to enter something. So that's going to be a text box, and they have to enter that time of arrival. And then we'll save that up there. Social settings. So this is enable social media sharing. Just check that there. And then you can use these links on your social media, whatever social media you're using, and then just save that. Bookable guest categories. So what guests do you want the users, your guests that are landing on your booking engine, what guests do you want them to see? All the guests are set up under the configuration tab and guests. So I have all my guests set up here, but maybe my pets or any other additional guests I don't want to show in the booking engine, so you can hide that. So that's where under the booking engine tab and our bookable guest categories, that's where I can check what guest categories I want to show on that page. Website calendar script generator. So this would be a page for your website developer, builder, if they wanted to add individual calendars, let's say, to your website. So what they would do is they would come into the script generator. They could select a unit in the dropdown, or if you're displaying by unit type, they would select that unit type. So let's just select one of my units. And then down below will be the script. In the number of lines do you want your calendar to be. So maybe I have a 1 month calendar, 2 months, and so on. If I select the actual number of months that I want, you'll see that you can display the rates on that calendar, or I can not display the rates and have that checked, and it just shows availability. If you have a page on your website that lists all the individual units, you can have this individual calendar. So pretty much it's skipping that step one. So I would select my dates from that individual calendar, and it's going to take me to either step 3, where I could select a point of sale or package item, or to that last step where I'm entering my information, my credit card, and confirming my booking. This analytic tracking scripts, that's just something that you won't see in your system, but we have at support. So this will be your Google Analytics. Any questions with that, just let us know at support.com or changes. Our design team can help out with that. At the bottom here is gift certificate options. So are you going to sell gift certificates? If so, you would just check this here. And then the page title. So what is that going to be? And then the gift certificate term. What do we call our gift certificates? And then minimum value, you could set that up here. And then increments by, do that there. And then you have 2 letters. So one is the confirmation letter. This is kind of like showing all the values of the gift certificate, their payment, all that information. And the gift certificate letter is usually the actual gift certificate itself. So just like the certificate that they could print out or save on their email. And then fee item. Do you charge a fee for the gift certificate? If so, you could set that up here, or maybe a fee is optional. Terms and conditions, set that up for the gift certificate. Again, this will be the last thing that they agree to on those terms. And then thank you message will be the last thing that they see when they purchase that gift certificate. This gift certificate link, this is just like the booking engine link that you would give to your website person to add to your website, a gift certificate link. If you click on that, you can kind of see what the gift certificate looks like. So they enter their value at the top, and then name, address. Do this real quick. Phone number. Any message that you would like for this gift certificate, you can add that here. And then if you're giving this gift certificate to someone else, you'll see that there's a recipient and you can add their information. Just click confirm and purchase when that's completed. And if I had set up the credit card, oops. Just add our credit card there. And then name, and then again, those are those terms and conditions, and they have to check this box that they agree to it, and then they would click buy now. And then the thank you message would be at the top here, whatever message we have, and then this is their confirmation page. Once they purchase that gift certificate on your dashboard, as long as you're showing gift certificates, so in the settings, let's turn this gift certificate show on and save. It'll download that gift certificate here, as well as on the left hand side, the gift certificates, it'll be listed there. Anything with the globe just means that it came from your site. Back to our booking engine page. So these are all the settings to set up the booking engine and what the booking engine will look like if we go back to our custom URL and our link. So here's our booking engine page. Here's our steps at the top. Here's our custom message at the very top. So test was our custom message. Here's our steps. So we have dates, accommodations, enhancements, confirmation. Again, I can change those names to whatever I'd like. Kind of the process of the booking engine is they would select their dates first, check in, check out dates. On this section is where I can select my number of rooms, because we do allow them to book more than one room that we set up in our settings. They select their guest types, so number of adults and number of children. Or they can use down here and just select the actual room itself. So I know I want to be in this room for those dates, and then I can check the rates. If you do have rates that have promo codes, here's a promo code where they can enter those codes. Once they're done either searching from here or this section, they would click on the search button up here or check rates. Either way, it's going to take them to this page. On this page is where they would select their unit. You'll notice that it has a slideshow for the pictures of this unit. Here's the description for the unit. And then these are all the rates that are available for this unit. So for this unit, we have the rack rate, we have a romance, and a new rate. If you click on that, you could see the rate description and kind of if the rate changes. For this one, an example, I'm saving for this rate. And you'll notice this one's red because it'll tell you why it's not available. So this one has to be a 7-night reservation, whereas I only booked 2 nights. So they could see kind of what the rate's going to be, but they're not able to book it because they don't have the correct number of nights. If you scroll down, it'll be all the units that are available for this time frame that I selected. And then it has our availability calendar at the bottom. Once they select their unit, let's go ahead and just select this unit here. The next step, since we are selling our packages and point of sale items, would be if they would like to purchase either a package or the extras is our point of sale items. With the package, you see here they can just click the add button and it'll move that over to add it to my unit. And with the point of sale items, they can change their quantity, so they can add multiple point of sale items. And again, it'll add it to the right hand side when I select that item. So it adds that over there. Once they're done selecting their unit and point of sale and package items, at the top here, you can see I can add another room. So I'm going to make this a group reservation essentially where I'm going to have multiple rooms. I would click there and it'll take me back to accommodations where I can add another room. Or if they're completely done, they would just click next. On the last page, this is where they're going to fill out all their information. Oh, whoops. Colorado. Put in my zip. Email address. Phone number. This section is going to pull, again, whatever your deposit policy is. So if we go back to our configuration tab and deposit policies, whatever's set up as our first policy is going to be what that pulls. So in this deposit policy, we're pulling the first night. So that's where they'll see that's what they owe that time. And then they would enter their credit card. So even though I don't have my Shift 4 set up and I'm doing payments on a separate terminal, the guests are still under the impression that they owe this amount, when in reality it's not going to be charged until you do it on your own terminal side. So then they enter their credit card. And their security code. And then the name on card, the card address. And then here's our custom field. So we have that time of arrival. And then they could enter a time. And then the special request, this is just a text box so they can add any notes that they need to add for you. And then at the very bottom is our terms and conditions. So again, there's a checkbox here. If I try to book without checking that, it's going to tell me that this field is required. So the guests need to check a box that they agree to your terms and conditions, and that'll just be listed here in this drop down. Once they check that, they can book the reservation. Now, if we were set up with credit card processing, we were using Shift 4, this is where that message would come up saying that we had issues processing their credit card. Otherwise, this is what the confirm, so the credit card did go through, or we're not using Shift 4, this is what the page would look like. Once that reservation is created, on your dashboard screen, you'll see the reservation under recent reservations here. And when I click on that, it'll open the guest reservation page. Clicking on view invoice, it'll show me their room and those point of sales and package items that they've added. That is the booking engine training.